Alright, welcome back to Nick Lenz's Comic Corner, Classic Legend and Classic. Episode number 3319, Doubleshot number 3213. I have a Star Trek trade and a Godzilla trade. First up is Star Trek Classics, Volume 3, Encounters with the Unknown, which focuses on Star Trek Voyager. Yep, bunch of their books. These books collect this book. We have Star Trek Voyager, False Colors, Star Trek Voyager, Avalon Rising, Star Trek Voyager, Elite Force, adaptation of the video game, and Star Trek Voyager, Planet Killer, which is a 3-issue miniseries. The cover is Drew Struzan, basically the same guy that does movie posters. So who writes these books? False Colors is written by Nathan Archer, artwork by Jeffrey Moy, background assist by Philip Moy. Avalon Rising is by Jenny Ellen Yang and Dowsa Young. Pencils and inks are done by David Roche. Elite Force, Dan Abbott, and Lenning with Jeffrey Moy in the artwork. Planet Killer is done by Kristen Catherine Roche and Dean Wesley Smith, with artwork by Robert Terensky. So as first, False Colors. It is mostly put Voyager in a, looks like a debris field, and good likenesses for basically the actors. Like, though, in the case of Tom Paris, he looks a bit older than the actor who played him on the show. Like, Janeway looks fine. I like the way Janeway's drawn here. But Tom Paris, he looks a bit puffy. A little bit in the face. And Chakotay looks fine. I think he looks fine here. Oh, by the way, this is after, 7-9 joined the crew, when, I'm guessing, based on the from some point in season 4 or 5. So I'm also put this is about examining Borg technology, and then we come across basically this weird looking space station that looks like, by appearance wise, reminds me a lot of the station that was in Elite Force video game, which that's gonna be here. And Neelix is here, and then apparently because deals with the Borg. So you have 7 and 9, Chakotay, and Neelix. Actually, Neelix. I think it's Tom Paris. So they're all disguised as Borg. Though I should point out, though, a lot of the Borg are bald. So they obviously sneak on board and excuse me. So they get on board, take out the spacesuits. They're in the Borg outfits for a while, and apparently these are just the people here are just people who were not Borg. Yeah, just some guys who just randomly words technology. Yeah, these are just random aliens that the Borg just happen to come across. It's just like, these are like scavengers who just happen to come across Borg technology. Oh yeah, and also randomly, it turns out though, yeah, these are not surgically altered. Apparently Tuvok's with them. Despite the fact on the previous panel it looks like Tom Paris. Nope, it's Tuvok. Apparently, so they removed the fake implants. I'm like, that was easy. Yeah, and she gets out of the suit she was in. And then, of course, it's like a big argument of people. It's kind of a weird issue. Weird start for the Voyager stuff, mind you. Yes. 7-9 looks like the way they draw her here, they think her is very like, basically they give her a 6-pack. Yep, they do. But they keep basically in shape. They have Avalon Rising, which is basically Voyager dealing with the version of King Arthur's. Basically, it's their take on King Arthur and the Knights of the Round Table. Yep, that's kind of the gist of this one shot. It's basically a holodeck story, but it's fun. I like the first one. I didn't really like it very much because I like some of the artwork in that one. It's all about claiming like the symbol for Voyager. And then we have the Elite Force tie-in. Now, Link Carr himself actually reviewed this for his YouTube channel, basically for his show Atop the Fourth Wall. And I have played the game too, and I actually beat almost the whole game. I actually got to the final boss, but I couldn't beat him because he was so freaking hard. Like, the thing is, most of the game was pretty easy. The only place they're hard is the gunship. That was actually pretty hard. And the Borg Cube was pretty simple. That was not too hard per se. It was a bit hard, but not really hard. The Forge, that was the other place. Like, the ending of it was hard. So, basically, the whole thing, now, of the Elite Force team, only one was actually used in the show prior to, basically, the game coming out, and that was Ensign Chill, who appeared for one episode of Season 1. The last episode. And here's something quite interesting. I didn't find this out there recently. Did you know that the first 4 episodes of Season 2 were actually supposed to be the last 4 episodes of Season 1? Apparently they were removed or pulled back from it because reasons. So it's kind of weird of why Season 1 for Voyager was like 16 episodes. So we begin kind of basically, we started the game where basically it's like, oh, Voyager's basically counted the Borg, gets captured, of course you have like fire on them, and then basically overwhelm. We have basically Beesman basically using 2 phasers to eliminate them, like beaming like crazy, and then like in reading this book, okay, they got the iMod, which is a weapon developed by 7 9, and then it becomes different from the game. Like, oh, everybody's basically turned the Borg, and then it turns out it was all a dream, and I'm like, yeah, that was not how it was played in the game. In the game, basically, you start on the Borg cube. You don't know it's simulated later. You basically eliminate all these Borg, places normal Borg cube, and Beesman is freed, though he's actually captured. And then, of course, you fire on the console, which has people prison, and, of course, there's an explosion happening. Here, it's basically Moreau being scared. And, well, then we have a briefing in the briefing room. Something they did not use in the game. Because in the game, they actually had their own briefing. They didn't have to use the magic meeting room that's used by the senior personnel. Why in the world apparently, I don't know why the artist basically did not. It's like, I'm guessing the artists who made this comic didn't play the game. So yeah, and then they're attacked by this other thing, and of course we send across to have these other ships, and then we have randomly the Borg pop out on Voyager, even though that never happened in the game. Yeah, the Borg did not come on Voyager during the game. They actually came on board during when they were, if I remember correctly, I think it was when they were on the Scavengers base. That's when the Borg showed up. Here it's like they're rushing to the Borg, which of course Foster is kidnapped. And of course they capture the Borg, and then they beam aboard a Borg cube to take it out, and then Foster is turned to the Borg, which here's the thing. The first time I played the game, when I got to the part where Forge, I actually failed to save him. But then I went back to him when I played later. I did go back and I did save him. And later on, now here's the thing: if you didn't save him, he actually basically becomes the voice of the Borg cube that you're on. In the ultimate version of this, they take control of 7 9. So they get beamed out, of course. It is interesting though that seeing 7 9 in this uniform. Now, here's a fun fact about the game. A lot of people know this. Like, okay, so they managed to bring in all the cast in the show except for Jerry Ryan. Originally, she was not part of the game. But then in the expansion pack, they put her as an alternate voice of 7 9. The reason for this, I don't know. It could be budget. By the way, this game came out 25 years ago. Yeah, and I played it for PS2. It was awesome. And then we have the briefing in the briefing room. There's no mention of the scavengers here. There's no mention of much of the harvesters. So then they go on the ship itself, and then they battle the stuff on there. Now this beastman get killed off here like he does in the game. Well, there's the whole thing, and then yeah, it's like then the Borg show up here, which they did not do that in the game. Nope. Yeah, basically this takes the place of the creatures from the first ship they went to in the game. Yes, there's these creatures who attacked them with energy, which turns out they were trying to communicate with them. And they showed up to help out them at the end of the game. He turns down, basically leaving, and then, well, then they blow the place up, of course. And then there is a little mention about Monroe. He gets back on board. By the way, at the end of the game, I saw this basically in a Let's Play. At the end of the game, see, the start of the game, he's an ensign. At the end of the game, he is promoted to lieutenant. Foster is basically, curative is basically his implants, you'll see in the game. But apparently, him being turned back to human relieves him of duty of the Elite Force team. So, the one side's interesting, and then we have Planet Killer. Which, yeah, this one has very weird artwork. So it's basically the Voyager crew. It's like they go this places. Oh, then planets are being destroyed by this thing. And then we see this. Those of you who have seen the episode Doomsday from the original show, it's the Planet Killer. Yep. It actually makes an appearance in here. Because this Voyager counting an version of the damn thing. And then we have flashbacks to the episode, which I thought that was really cool. Yep. And of course, they'll escape, of course, from the Planet Killer. Do we see it drawn in the comic? Yes, we do. And there it is. Yeah, did you know that it was like expanded media that, get this, there was a pilot of this damn thing, and this thing was meant to kill the Borg. Yeah. But, what do you think of the stuff? I like the Avalon story. The first story was okay. Elite Force was awesome. I do like the story. I do like the artwork and the thing. But it's like so many liberties with the source material with this one. It's like, yeah, the game was better. Honestly. Last one, artwork is weird, but hey, I love the nod to Doomsday. That great episode from season 3. I actually like that one. So, I give this book roughly a 9 out of 10. So, next up we have is Godzilla, Monsters and Proectors. The Complete. Has all 3 miniseries here for this one. Yeah, it is the best way to describe these. By the way, it's 3 miniseries. We have Godzilla, Monster Protectors, Rise Up, which is 5 issues. Godzilla, Monster Protectors, All Hail the King, 5 issues. And Monster Protectors Summer Smash. It is mostly put a group of kids watching the monsters fight. In all these books. That's literally the plot of all these books. It's virtually the same thing. Kids watching stuff. It's from Eric Burnett, artwork by Dan Chitting. I do like the artwork. The story is okay, but the story is virtually the same, the whole thing. Give roughly 8 out of 10. Okay, so that's pretty much it for the video. Please be sure to like, comment, subscribe, turn notifications. Next up, basically, we have is, well, Rise Your Hero. Okay, thanks, Phil. Bye.